Hello my dear students, this is Dr. Amita Telan. We were looking the subject database management system and we were going through the topic relational database design normalization. As we see in our previous lectures that what is normalization, what are various types of anomalies, and we also see the first normal form. Today we will see second normal form. So as we all know from our previous classes that the first normal form does not eliminate redundancy, but rather it's that it eliminates repeating groups, as we already seen this in our previous example. Instead of having multiple columns of the same kind of data in a record, you remove the repeated information into a separate relation and represent them as rows. This is what constitutes first normal form. So we have to move to second normal form. So we can say that second normal form is based on the concept of full functional dependency. Second normal form applies to relations with composite keys, that is, relations with a primary key composed of two or more attributes. A relation with a single attribute primary key is automatically in at least second normal form. A relation that is not in second normal form may suffer from the update anomalies. As in our previous classes we have already discussed about the anomalies, various kinds of anomalies. So to be in second normal form, a relation must be in first normal form, and relation must not contain any partial dependency. A relation is in second normal form if it has no partial dependency. It means that no non-prime attribute is depend on any proper subset of any candidate key of the table. In other words, or in short, we can say that a relation that is in first normal form and every non-primary key attribute is fully functionally dependent on primary key, then the relation is in second normal form. So let us discuss this with an example. Here it is. Suppose a school wants to store the data of teachers and the subjects they teach. So they create a table that looks like this, as you can see in your screen. Since a teacher can teach more than one subject, the table can have multiple rows for the same teacher. As you can see in your screens, there is a table. It contains 3 columns: teacher ID, subject and teacher age. Here candidate keys are also mentioned, teacher ID and subject, and one non-prime attribute, it is teacher age. So the table is in first normal form because each attribute has atomic values. However, it is not in second normal form because non-prime attribute teacher age is dependent on teacher ID alone, which is a proper subset of candidate key, as we have already discussed in the theory part of second normal form. So this violates the rule of second normal form, as it says no non-prime attribute is depend on the proper subset of any candidate key of the table. So to make the table complies with second normal form, we can break it into two tables. We will break in two tables like this. In one table it contains 2 columns, teacher ID and teacher age, In the second, it contains teacher subject, so teacher ID and subject. Now the table comply with second normal form. As you have seen that what we did here, we divide this table into two more tables. One table contains teacher ID and teacher age, and second table teacher ID and subject. Now this table we can call it is normalized in second normal form. Let's move to the third normal form now. So as we all know that a table is in second normal form, it means it must be in first normal form first. So in the case of third normal form, we can say that a table design is said to be in third normal form. Obviously, first it must be in second normal form, and the additive thing is transitive functional dependency. So transitive functional dependency of non-prime attribute on any super key, it should be removed. So an attribute that is not part of any candidate key is known as non-prime attribute. Here we are going to define this, that what is non-prime attribute. So an attribute that is not part of any candidate key, it is known as non-prime attribute. So in other words, third normal form can be explained that a table is in third normal form if it is in second normal form, and for each functional dependency, means suppose x tends to y. Here is a functional dependency, at least one of the following conditions hold, that x is a super key of table, y is a primary attribute of table. So an attribute, here one more term we got, that prime attribute. So an attribute that is a part of one of the candidate key is known as prime attribute. Let us see one example for this. Suppose a company wants to store the complete address of each employee. They create a table named employee detail that looks like this, as you all can see in your screen. It contains 6 columns, as you can see: employee ID, employee name, employee zip, employee state, employee city, and employee district. So here are super keys are mentioned, as you can see: employee ID, first super key is employee ID, then employee ID, employee name, it is a combined super key, then employee ID, employee name, employee zip, and so on. There are many super keys you can create. One candidate key is also mentioned here, employee ID, and one non-prime attribute, all attribute except employee ID. Okay, means because employee ID is candidate key, so except employee ID, every attribute are non-prime, as they are not part of any candidate key. So here employee state, employee city, employee district, they all depend on employee zip, and employee zip is depend on employee ID, that makes non-prime attribute transitively dependent on super key. So this is violating the rule for third normal form, and we have to remove this problem from here. We have to remove it, we have to solve this. So what we will do here, to make this table complies with third normal form, we have to break the table into two tables to remove the transitive dependency. So in our example table we have 3 columns. Now when we normalize that table into third normal form, now we have 2 more tables. One table contains employee ID, employee name, employee zip, and the other table, it contains employee zip, employee state, employee city, and employee district. So this table is now considered as normalized as third normal form. In our next class, we will see about the Boyce-Codd normal form. In short, we can say it BCNF. Thank you very much.